In this video, we're going to see how we can emphasize our character's movement using this easy bounce effect. You can use this in your gameplays and add a fun look to them. Let's see how we get this effect in Filmora 11. Import your gameplay into the project and then drag it onto your timeline. Now let's choose a song from the audio menu. I went ahead and downloaded Party Pop from the Beat Music section, drag it right underneath your video. So right over here, we can see that there is a decline here and then suddenly it goes back up. So this area right here is perfect for this bounce effect. I will cut my audio right here and then we can get rid of the first bit. Now we need to look through our footage and find an area where that pause is about to happen. Here's your playhead and go through your footage. And we're basically looking for a part where we're about to shoot our opponent. So right over here, before we decide to shoot, we're going to hit M on this video and then find the end point of this battle. Hit M on the end point. Now we can simply click on those markers and make a cut. So this section right here will be our first effect. Let's look for some other sections that we can use this effect on. Once we have our sections, we can get rid of the bottom half, which is the parts where nothing interesting is happening. Drag the videos onto the first timeline, and now we can begin with the effect. Double-click on this footage, go to Speed, Speed Ramping. In the listed presets, choose Bullet Time. So this slow area is perfect for that part where we are about to shoot our opponent. We just need to watch our footage and match the keyframe with what's happening in the video. So use the playhead right here and see exactly when you want things to slow down. So after my bullet has been shot, I want things to go back to normal speed because right now it's on 5 times. Simply bring down these keyframes and set it on the 1x line. I'm going to bring down these 2 keyframes so that we get a slower effect. Let's render our video and see whether or not it's synced with the music. There we go. So we're getting the slow motion right when there's a decline, and then we get the normal speed right when the new beat is about to start. I'm going to slow it down even more, so I will be going down all the way to the bottom. There we go. So I have something like this. You can always go back and change the position of your keyframes. Hit OK once you're finished, and now we can go ahead and add some additional effects. So play your video and right on the slow motion section, hit M on your keyboard. So right over here, we're going to hit M. We're going to place a filter on the second half and make it look as if we're really in focus when trying to defeat our enemy. Go to the media menu and then sample color. We're going to choose this color, drag it onto the second half of your video. Have the beginning of this color start right when you made that marker. Double click on this red, go to color, go to tone and decrease the brightness. Once we have a color like this, you can go to image and then mask. Choose the circle option, then invert the mask. Let's work with the size by grabbing the corner right here. And once we have chosen the position, we're going to increase the blur strength. Move to the end of this shooting screen and then make a keyframe. So increase the width and the height so we get something like this. And then slowly, as we are about to shoot our opponent, this red is going to increase towards the center. Make a keyframe right here. We're going to reduce the opacity from 100 to 0. Select the first keyframe and just lower the opacity so it's not exactly a red color, but we get a red tint over our video. And then at the start of this track, we're going to make another keyframe and then lower the opacity to 0. Let's work with our second video where we're jumping up to get a better view. Double click on this video and just use the animation section to create some keyframes. Make a keyframe at the start and now let's see where we are jumping up. Use position Y to come downwards, moving forward and see in what direction she's swinging her leg. And based on that direction, we're going to rotate the video. So we would have to go towards the opposite side and then zoom in. So we're kind of rotating as we go. Once we're up, we're going to type in 100 for scale, 0 for rotation, and 0 for both positions. We can go ahead and add some speed ramping to this clip so that everything is nicely matched. Hit OK once you're finished, and now we can bring this guy right next to the first video. Zoom in into your timeline and look at these sound waves of your music. Right over here, we can see a beat ends and another one is about to start. So this is the perfect place to create a transition from our first effect into our second effect. Select both of these items and hit the scissor icon. Now we can drag this guy back, and now the second effect will start with our beat. Then we're just going to leave everything to play. Here we have another perfect position for our third effect. We have ourselves throwing in a grenade towards the enemy. So we can once again use animation and speed ramping to highlight the movements in this video. Double click on the footage, go to speed ramping, and we're going to use a hero moment. Once again, we would have to play our video and see when we want the slow motion to happen. So when she throws the grenade, I want everything to be slow. Once the grenade has been thrown, we go back to the normal speed. Now go to the animation section and we're going to create keyframes based on the movements. So right over here, when she's about to throw the grenade, we're going to add a keyframe, move it back, and then we're going to just zoom in towards her hand. And then a few frames forward, when she's throwing the grenade, we're going to zoom out from our video. So type in 100 for scale and 0 for position Y. Bring these two keyframes together so that the effect is pretty quick. Hit OK once you're finished, and now we can bring in our third effect and place it right next to the other two. Go to the effects menu and type in flash, so we can decorate these intense moments. We can grab this effect and place it on our second video. Zoom in onto the timeline, and right when we're doing this epic movement, we want the effect to show up. So we can just trim the effect by grabbing the edges, and then we're going to end the effect when we make it up the item. We can adjust how fast we want these flashes to show up. So I want mine to be pretty fast, but if you want yours to be really slow, you can just bring the slider towards the left. For this third video, we're going to add a blur effect. Type in blur in the same effects menu, and we're going to add this blur effect. So once we threw the grenade, we're going to add this effect. So just drag it towards the side. And we're basically showing that there was a lot of impact from that explosion, and therefore everything is blurry. Delete the excess, and before we throw the grenade, we can add another type of blur. Make a cut for the excess part and match it with the start of your element. You can finish off this effect with some simple transitions, so I will use some speed blurs in between my two videos. Split the audio and get rid of the excess. Then we can just fade out the end by double clicking and increasing the fade out slider. We can see how much this fade out is based on this gray area. Do the same thing with your video. So first we want to make sure that the blur effect is there. Then type in fade in the transitions menu. Add this fade effect right on your clip, and we can just match it with the fade out that we kept for the audio. And now we're finished with the effect. That was pretty easy and fun to do. Let's work together and create the same style.